Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Kotz and I'm your instructor for History 334, History of Ancient Egypt. And I thought what I'd do for the very first video is just take you through the course a little bit and go through the syllabus to let you know what we will be talking about. And what I'll do is I'll switch back and forth between you looking at me and then looking at the syllabus. Um, but it is important that you look through the syllabus. I won't be going through the whole thing. Um, and what I've done here is set it up so that you can see my office hours. So I'll have office hours on Monday and Tuesdays from 9 to 10. And I've given you the Zoom link here with the password. Of course, if those don't work, just send me an email and I can meet you pretty much at any time. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I do want to point out that, as you know, this is an upper level history course. And what usually goes along with those is quite a bit of reading and analyzing sources. So we will definitely be doing that in this class. I also want to say that this isn't your usual history course where you write an essay, take a midterm, take a final exam, and that's it. This course is definitely not like that. You'll be making a website, you'll be making a podcast series, and I just want to let you know that up front in case that isn't quite what you're looking for. One of the reasons I do that is that the danger of taking a course with just 3 graded things is that, of course, if you fail, say, a midterm, you've essentially failed the course, and I don't teach like that. We're obviously totally asynchronous, meaning we don't have a specific time to meet, but I'm happy to get together if, a section of the class wants to chat about what we're learning about, because I can certainly set that up. I've got all the learning outcomes here. In terms of contacting me, so again, I just mentioned my office hours. You can send me an email pretty much at any time. I usually don't get on my email between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m., but I'll get back to you in the morning. I am asking that you not send me messages through the Blackboard message system. There's no way to keep track of these, and so just send me an email. And again, we can set up the Zoom conference room, the official classroom in Blackboard if we need to do that. I do have a few required readings, and some of these are free. So the Rise and Fall of Ancient Egypt, I got free through academia.com. You can find this in the list of readings in Blackboard. You do have to buy a few books. So the Penguin Historical Atlas of Ancient Egypt you have to buy. And then Toby Wilkinson, the same author for our main textbook, he wrote a book on writing from ancient Egypt. So that's another one you have to buy. This book, Early Hydraulic Civilization in Egypt, is free as well. And then we've got articles to read each week. Some of these are really optional. What I tend to do is I like to give students articles on the topics that I'm talking about. If you end up not reading them, you really should read them for all of your written assignments. I also put quite a few books up on our Blackboard course. And again, I got these free and they are legally obtained books. So please look at them and use them for sources when it comes to your assignments. I do give a recommended text, so if you want to buy this book, it's a little bit pricey, but it's really good. Introduction to Archaeology of Ancient Egypt by Catherine Bard. In terms of the grading scale, so I do everything by weighted grades, meaning assignment number 1 is worth 1% of your entire grade. And it's not based on points. So I could have that first assignment worth 1,000 points, but if it's only worth 1% of the grade, if you fail it, it means the highest grade you could get is 99 in the class. So that's what it means by weighted. And I give you the grade scale here. I give you the late policy, incomplete, the complaint policy here. And then what I do is I list the assignments we're going to be working on. So many of the details can be found within our Blackboard course, but I do want to go over these really quickly. So you'll be making a website, and it'll be on ancient Egypt, which of course is the topic of our class. It's worth 5% of your entire grade. And then I'll be showing you how to do this in the first week. And then you need to copy and paste your URL, the address, into a Google Sheet. So as I note here, this grade is floating. So I'm going to be looking at your website multiple times over the semester. So you might get an A in the beginning, and if you haven't cleaned up everything, it might drop down to a C, and it might go back up. But that's what I mean by floating. We'll have an introduce yourself on the discussion board in week 1. That's worth 1% of your grade. I'll also have a read through the syllabus, and you'll take a syllabus quiz. You can think of these two as really easy A's just to start off in the class. There'll be a quiz on how to write an essay and what is history, and that's due in week 2. Now your main assignments, you'll be writing 3 podcasts. So think of these as essays that you just read out loud, and they're research essays. So they're about 1,000 words each. They have to be cited, and you have to have a bibliography. And I'll go through how to create all of this. We'll have 3 discussions, mostly about the primary texts. You won't be reading any primary text in week 3. Now, this might be a good point to tell you that a primary text is something written in the ancient world. So in this particular case, something written by the ancient Egyptians. A secondary text is where scholars like you and me will write about something about ancient Egypt, and that's a secondary text. Those are worth 5% each, or 15% total. There'll be 3 quizzes in the class, and I mentioned this at the beginning, there's no midterm and no final exam, but these quizzes will cover that. And they won't be very long. They might be 5 questions each, maybe short essay. We will be doing peer review because I found that, especially in asynchronous online courses, students really want to see what other people are doing and interact with your classmates. So we'll be doing some peer review for a couple of assignments. And then you've got another assignment due at the end of the course. It's on designing your own tune. And we'll have a first draft, and then we'll do a peer review. So you'll get comments by your peers and comments by me. And then your final project is a rewrite of that, designing your own tune. There'll be a couple of requirements for that, which I'll go through later. There will be a few chances for extra credit. I give a few surveys throughout the semester, and then I'll put some extra credit onto your grade. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this weekly stuff, but I do want to note, and I said this at the beginning, we're a history class, upper division, and there's a lot of reading to do. If it's too much, just skim the articles. I mentioned that before. And then what I do is, and you can see this is a very long syllabus because I like to write everything out. So in week 1, what we're going to cover is a course introduction, which is this video. We will look at what is history. We might push that into week 2. How to write an essay, I might push that into week 2 as well. But we'll look at how to create a website. And then what I do is I break down each week into weekly learning outcomes. This is what I want you to do and learn every single week. So by the end of this week, you'll be able to write a historical essay, discuss the course contents, and so on. And then what I want you to do is watch the lectures, which will be this video and maybe a few others on how to create a website. And then I want you to read. I want you to do the reading. So read the syllabus. Read this article. Now, this actually is a PhD dissertation. It's very long, but I just want you to read the abstract, pages 4 to 8, and then pages 114 to 121. And then I want you to read this website. Ancient Egypt shows that climate change is always with us. Just click on the link and read through that. I want you to start reading Early Hydraulic Civilization in Egypt. Again, not too many pages. Skim through page 20 and then read through 22 to 39. And then Historical Atlas. Now, what you'll see when you look through the Historical Atlas is it's mostly pictures. So there's actually not a lot of text. And then what you need to do this week. So, and all these are due by Sunday, January 23rd at 11:59 p.m. So I want you to introduce yourself to your peers on the discussion board. I want you to take the syllabus quiz. And then I want you'll watch the videos on how to create a website. I want you to create your website and then copy and paste the URL onto a Google Doc, which we can find in Blackboard. Now again, I won't be going through each and every week, but let me go through week 2 as well. So we'll be looking at what sustainability is and how to read and understand a scientific archaeological report, because a lot of the articles I have you read and articles you'll need to use are really scientific papers, and then historians use that material to interpret what might have happened. So I've got the weekly learning outcomes. I want you to watch the lectures. I want you to do these readings. And then I want you to do a quiz on essay writing and what is history. So these quizzes, and along with the syllabus quiz you do in week 1, you can do these multiple times. You have to get a 90% above you can and to continue with the class. And then week 3, I'm going to send out a progress report to everybody, letting you know how you're doing. You should know because I put all the grades up on Gradebook, on Blackboard in the Gradebook. I'm doing this because I'm going to be serious this semester about dropping people who aren't showing up through week 3. It's probably important for your education to not pay for a class that you're not going to pass. So I'll be dropping people by week 3, and I'll send out this progress report before I do that. And same thing. Now, one thing I do want to note, I've taught this class many times in class, and we usually meet 4 hours every week. Now, I'm not going to record 4 hours of lectures for you because I think it's not the way to teach an online class. So what I decided to do is, one of my favorite podcasts is History of the World in 100 Objects. And I decided back in August that I was going to teach this course similar to that. So what I'm going to do is, I found a bunch of objects, like for example, the very first lecture you listen to on ancient history is something on the King's List. And these are lists that ancient Egypt put together. Like this is the pharaoh who ruled during this time, this is the next pharaoh, this is the next pharaoh. We're going to talk about how that affected the way we date what happened in ancient Egypt today. And then what I'm going to do is, in another short lecture, hopefully these are only about 15 minutes each, I'm going to look at an early hand axe that was from the prehistorical period. And I'm going to talk about what that can tell us about the history of that particular time. I will be talking about what is history in another lecture, but it's important to remember and to know that history is really interpretation. Historians interpret what we have. So we have an early hand axe. What can that tell us? We have to sort of interpret that because no one's around to tell us what it is. And you can't just pick up a book or read a journal article and say, this is specifically what a hand axe is. I mean, of course we can describe it, but what was it used for? Why was it made? Where did it come from? Where's the material coming from? And so on. So it's all based on interpretation, and you'll be doing the same thing. So it's really important to remember history is all about interpretation. You use the data that we have, and then you get to interpret it. And then there's readings, and then I want you to do discussion number 1. So the rest of the syllabus is designed like that. You can see everything that we're doing. All the lecture topics are there. And sometimes these lecture topics don't give you very much information, but hopefully it'll make sense by the time you listen to the lecture. And then as you go on to the very end of the syllabus, the typical statements here, we've got a departmental statement about community values, the academic dishonesty statement, really important to know that if you cheat in this class, you'll probably fail the entire class and you'll be removed from class. There's accessibility services, so if you need any of that, please let me know. There's also the Student Center for Academic Achievement. If you're having trouble writing, then of course you'd come to me first and we could work on it. But if something that we think we might need to send you on to SCA, we can definitely do that. And then there's Title IX information. This is all about discrimination based on sex, gender, sexual orientation. If you believe you've been sexually harassed or abused by a professor, staff member, or another student, you have to tell somebody. Either come talk to me directly or contact the Title IX office directly. And of course, there's the emergency information, which you all should know. Let me switch back to this view. So I am available by email almost all the time. I check my email endlessly throughout the day, even on the weekends, although I can't guarantee I'll respond very quickly on the weekends. And I'm very approachable. If you need anything, please let me know. The one issue about teaching an asynchronous class, and I've been teaching online since 2004, coming up on almost 20 years, is that students can get lost in an asynchronous course. And sometimes I don't know you're lost. I don't get to see you in a classroom. I don't get to see your face. I can usually tell when people are confused, and then I can repeat something or go over it again in maybe a better way. But in an asynchronous class, we can't do that. Your job is to communicate with me on having any issues. And of course, I put a little COVID note up at the beginning. because we're still going through this mess. But anyway, the short answer or short thing is don't hesitate to ask me anything or contact me at any point if you need anything with the class, because I'm here to help you succeed, and I really want you to succeed. And I also want you to have fun. This is a really interesting topic for a lot of people, and ancient Egyptian history brings up a lot of questions and a lot of comments for people. So anyway, I'll sign off for now, but I will talk to you soon.